on now. Mr. Patterson.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Patterson.
Yes.
David Dew, how are you, sir?
Doing well, David. I hope you are.
We're doing great, doing great. You've got the Board of Equalization here, and we've got your files pulled up, so I will turn things over to you, and we'll go through these parcel by parcel, if that's okay with you.
That's fine. We can do that.
Okay.
Would you like for us to take the lead?
Yes, sir, that'd be great.
Okay, very good. Terry, whether you want to start.
Can we start with FEC Enterprises, which is just one parcel known as Compass Entertainment Complex?
Okay.
You want to start with Compass?
Yes.
Okay, let us pull, let's see.
It's tax map number 2886B.
86B, okay. Okay, we've got it all pulled up here. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Basically, this gets to the fact that, I can't imagine there's any comparables, that we would have a 12% increase in our tax assessment, because there isn't anything comparable to Compass Entertainment anywhere in Lancaster County. And so that's essentially, our issue here.
Okay,
So, and just as a side note, we're also in, I guess it's called an enterprise or opportunity zone, and we couldn't even get any kind of, tax credits or anything, for developing this facility because the county, didn't really have a plan for that. So, that's a little side comment, but, that's the gist of this one.
It's an opportunity zone that's unfunded that would typically be used for the purpose of mitigating the impact of taxes. But our primary concern is that we don't see what the basis is for a tax increase.
okay.
We're going to move along and make best use of our time. Go ahead.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for, right now, for Compass at least?
Nope.
Okay,
I will say that it is typical in most counties that whenever there's an investment of that magnitude, that whether it be a variety of other measures or actually an opportunity zone as a mitigation to taxes, that is the sort of step that is taken as a norm. Let's move on.
sure. Okay,
The next big group of properties are under ICN Enterprises LLC. There, you should have the letter and a, I don't know if you can see that too far away, a big spreadsheet that has all of the parcels.
My assumption is that you have this as part of the material that we provided.
let's see.
Towards the back.
I see it enterprises.
At the top,
one is that?
top, it has a header, ICN Enterprises LLC,
Okay, I've got it.
and it runs from 23A down to 2878A.
Gotcha, okay.
Go ahead.
So I know you want to go parcel by parcel, but, I'm just going to read from my letter because it basically gives you the gist of our issues.
Sure.
To start with, the majority of the properties that are on Irvington Road in the town of Irvington are all zoned commercial. And the average increase in the land values was 36%. And in one case, a parcel 33,417 had a land value increase of 49% for no reason. And I'd like to point out that there are other properties that are contiguous with this, but happen to be under a different LLC, King Carter Holdings, had 0 to 8% increase in land values. And they're right across the street. So, the complete inconsistency, between, I know it's two owners, but it's all the same land, in Irvington on both sides of the street. We own essentially 90% of the property that's right along that whole strip. So it's really not uniform or consistent among any of those properties located in the same town block. So,
Well, the spreadsheet you all provided will be crucial in aiding us in deliberation and also research, because we will go through and look at each one of these parcels and try to figure out where the disparities are and make adjustments as needed. So we appreciate that.
We appreciate your time, and we'll try to make good use of it.
the last one I want to point out, though, from ICN Enterprises is the 49 Weems Road property, which is 2878A. That property is located across the street from Compass Entertainment. It used to be Rockwell's father's
Store.
Oh,
Yeah,
the store there at the
yeah.
corner of Weems Road in Irvington.
right.
Yes.
Exactly.
At that fork.
Right.
So essentially, if you look at the spreadsheet, the land value went up by 36%, and the actual building assessment went up by 40%. And essentially, we haven't done anything to that building. I mean,
Clean it up.
other than, clean it up and I think paint it, because it was an eyesore, So, my issue with that is, it's like you do something good to get an eyesore, stop looking like an eyesore, and then you get a 40% increase in your tax value.
Understood completely.
Keep moving. We've got this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one was King Carter Holdings.
King Carter Holdings, okay.
Should be another spreadsheet
Yep. So that's right
with
before this
attached
one.
with that.
Gotcha, okay.
And some of these properties I was just referring to when we were discussing Irvington, one side of the street is actually owned by King Carter Holdings, and the other side is ICN Enterprises. But as you can see, the very first one, 40 tax map 33,429, had a building assessment increase of 49%. That is a 100-year-old farmhouse there that actually we're planning on tearing down. It's 2 blocks, about a block down from the Office Bistro. For the building to be assessed at that kind of rate seems to me that somebody was thinking it was short-term rental property or something, but it is not.
Okay.
It's not a resident. It is zoned
Storage.
commercial, and essentially we have no long-term plans for the property because of, the age of the house and the amount of work required of it. So my question was, how you could double the assessment value of a home like that, for essentially almost no reason, so.
And no one's living there, correct? It's y'all's intention is to tear it down?
No, yeah, no one's living there.
Okay,
They have had, they've use the convenience of throwing some furniture in there, but that's been about it. It is a building that the town of Irvington looked at somewhat recently, but they decided that it was not of interest to them.
For a town office. They're across the street in a different property.
Gotcha, right.
It has to do with the number of things that would have to be done to it to bring it up to usable standards.
And the other one I highlighted on there is the one lonely house on Irvington Farm Road, which, you know, had a 45% increase in its building. I mean, there's no other house on that road, so, you know, I'm trying to determine what the market, you know, assessment was, since there's nothing even close to it, that would be driving up the value of that property. So that's the tax map 28J113.
Got it. Yeah, that's a pretty significant increase as well.
What is
Yeah.
that house currently
So,
being? Sorry, Mr. Patterson.
Question, please?
What is the status of that house on Irvington Farm Road? Is it somebody living there? Is it?
Yeah, it's a rental property. One of our chefs was living in that house.
He lived there, he's since moved.
Okay.
You want to go into the houses?
Yeah, and the last things that were sent had to do with our own personal property, which is tax maps 33-281 and 33-282. And the main thing I question is, you know, significant difference in, you know, the lot size. One's a 1 acre, 1.29 acre lot, and the other one is a half acre essentially. You know, but if you look at the calculation of the, you know, the tax assessment on a per acre basis, you know, one is assessed at $758,000 an acre, and the other at $372,000 an acre. So it doesn't seem like there was anything taken into account for the fact that the one lot was only a half an acre. It was just because it's on the water, it was, you know, increased by, you know, significantly, 42%, you know, just because. So I realize there's a lot of,
They're side.
what, they're side by side, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Last report is that these two lots are side by side, but the per acre assessed value is significantly different.
Sure.
So it's an inconsistency.
And we do understand, you know, the market in Irvington has, you know, significant increases in, you know, some of the home prices out. You know, we did not question necessarily the improvements amount because, you know, I'm sure there's market data that has to, you know, that's behind that, so.
So all in all, what we've tried to do is to look at this the way we understand that towns and counties must. We certainly expect to pay our fair share. It's a part of what takes care of the town or the county. But the inconsistencies give us the sense that there may not have been as much deliberateness in it as one would expect.
Sure.
We don't doubt that a good effort's been put forth, that the right people are doing these types of things. But we do want to bring this to your attention because of the inconsistencies, in our opinion, being rather substantial.
Well, and that's exactly why this board exists, is to be another source if in fact the assessor didn't make changes that were satisfactory to the taxpayers. And so y'all's data has been very helpful. And because it's a complex number of properties, we've set aside a separate day just for deliberation on y'all's properties, because we want to go through one by one and take our time and make sure we're doing things correctly. So, does anybody on the board have any questions at this point in time?
Just a comment on the land value, and I feel like this comes up pretty often. They don't do it on a per acre value, whether it's a waterfront piece of land or an off-water piece of land. They always assign a value to a home site. And so I'm not sure if you've seen the data sheets that the county has, where it kind of breaks that out, and we've had other people, come in kind of with the same inconsistency, but for whatever reason, they call a home site kind of anything under an acre. And so they apply a really high value to that first ability just to build a home on a piece of land, and then the residual land does not have nearly as high of a value. And that always throws people off a bit. And so it's for us, I think it's kind of just going through and looking at other neighboring properties and seeing what their home site values are. But I don't know if you've had a chance to see how they've got on the smaller piece, the home site value they have is $425,000. On the bigger piece, they've given the home site a value of $475,000, and then that extra third of an acre, they only valued at $4,350, which is kind of typical of how they are. But we'll go around definitely and look at what other similar sized properties in Irvington are kind of valued at. But that home site, that first bit of land always gets a really high value, and I don't know if they should do a quarter acre for the home site instead of 1 acre to try to help with that, or what, but it is how the old assessments were done as well.
Okay. That's helpful information, thank you.
Anybody else have any more questions?
No, sir.
Julian and Terry, do you all have anything additionally question-wise or comment-wise for us right now?
No, I don't think that we do. We were concerned because it appeared that our package had not moved as one set of documents through the system. You have them all now, so that addresses one of our concerns. And then the other concern is just the basis for them. Some of them, the concern is inconsistencies. And when we're talking about other than the lot that was just the set of lots that were highlighted, but those that are on Irvington Road, adjacent to each other and across the street from each other, then that's when that consistency is something that you look to, as opposed to it being assessed differently for a residential lot.
Absolutely.
And then if there's anything at all that we can do to be helpful, we certainly want to do that. We don't expect you to, in some way, change this around just because we asked. We're not doing that. We're simply just trying to make sure that the information that is provided to you is consistent, and that there's a consistency in the techniques and processes that are applied to this situation.
Sure.
That's mainly what we're looking for. Thank you for your time.
And Julie and Terry, question for you all. Should we have any questions? I believe we're taking up your cases this Thursday. We've set forth our full day. Should we have any questions? Do we have your permission to contact you all with any questions Thursday?
Yes, please do. We can hop back on the line very easily.
Okay. All right, well,
And don't mind providing clarification or additional insight in some way.
okay. Well, that sounds great. Well, without any more questions today, again, we appreciate you all's time and providing the documentation, the spreadsheets, the data you all have. It'll be very helpful. And we may have questions for you Thursday. But one way or the other, we'll go through each tax map parcel one by one, and then we'll notify you all by mail in the next 2 to 3 weeks' time of the board's decision, so.
Okay, understood. So we'll stand by for Thursday to provide information or clarity, and then we'll look for the rest in the mail.
That sounds great.
Can I,
Hang on one second.
sorry, Mr. Patterson, I was flipping through. In terms of Compass, which we appreciate it being there so much, my kids love it. I mean, is the thought, it's so unique, obviously property values all around the northern neck have increased since the last assessment, but potentially the last assessment was reasonably fair, but because there's really nothing else that you could compare it to, is the argument sort of that it didn't really increase in value? I mean, if anything, maybe it's depreciated after how many thousands of kids have run through there and but is that kind of
Well,
the idea that?
it didn't exist, with the last tax assessment, so,
Okay.
as it was built after that, so.
We've gone a while down that road, and people were hired and they left their jobs, and then the pandemic occurred. And so we didn't have any choice but to stay the course in order to make sure we could continue to provide that employment for all the team. And so we pushed through. My comment about the opportunities on that being funded was not criticism, it's just a matter of what the standards can be in other settings. And I just want to add that for that reason, so that you would know that. But to see the increase that we did, it was a bit of a surprise. And so whatever attention can be focused there would be greatly appreciated.
Okay.
We do think that that's going to be an asset to the county for years to come. Knowing a little bit from having been on the Virginia Economic Development Partnership for two governments, different parties, I do understand when a business comes in, how it can be a trend turner. It can be a catalyst for other businesses that are acceptable to the county or town to come in. And so our hope was that others would not only benefit from it, families and others who visit, but also that others who might think about being an entrepreneur in the county might see this as a basis for taking that challenge on. So if those two things occur, we will feel that we have been successful.
Absolutely.
Well, again, thank you all for your time. And
Thank you all
I
both.
look forward to possibility of hearing on Thursday, and if not, we'll look for your response in the mail.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Good day, all,
Good day.
Thank you.
and God bless.
God bless.
Bless.
All right, so we're taking all of this up on Thursday for Julia's properties.
Yeah, I just thought maybe, I don't know which way y'all would do it, Mr. Green first, or Mr. Patterson, Gary, stuff, but I just thought maybe not those two rounds, but still a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll probably do the green first
Yeah, I think get that out of the way.
on Thursday and then go to this one because it's different. All right, so our next one is Todd. Is he coming in?
He's supposed to, he's a gentleman who bought Yankee Point, Marina from Kendrick.
Ken, right? All right, let's see. Well, the second one today was Belial. That's part of the green, so that'll get heard Thursday. Y'all want to go back to the Youngs?
Yep.
Alicia Young and Mike Young on 88 Kenner Drive.
Did we finish up the other one, Fairway?
I think so, right? The
Did we?
increase.
We did.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And Drasco's, we did, yeah. All right, so. Where is it? Where's Woods Drive? Irvington Road. This must be Route 3 here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going towards Irvington Road, Woods Drive. Here's the property here, okay. So 2019 5-year-old home.
Do you know, Crystal, has Marlin done any more for February and March? How the sales price to, I think when we had the initial Board of Equalization training, I think she had it for January, and it was 105%. Has she produced any more of that data? Just,
I have seen it, that's a meeting, so like what the sales have been
com-
running.
compared to the assessments?
Yeah, I'll have to
That's right, so land didn't change. The question here would be, is there something either about,
Well, the improvements went from 86 a square foot to 155 a square foot.
yeah.
That's the whole kicker right there.
So there was no, the old factor was 100, so that's,
And they said the
Given-
house next door was dilapidated,
yeah.
so
Physical depreciation seems about right at 5%, I don't know why.
Bring the factor back down and,
You made a comment about the easement being dry or not being paved, but gravel. Is
Gravel,
that-
yeah.
Is there a substantial value in that,
I don't know.
in having paved driveway?
Find out.
Certain people don't love it, I feel like, when you go to show them property and you turn down a gravel road, there's a certain amount of people that are just sort of like, not for me.
Right.
I have a 2:15 appointment, I know I'm early, am I allowed to sit in here, or do you want me to be in?
Like Mr. Irwin?
Yep.
Probably go ahead and,
Yeah, let's, we can go ahead and do that.
okay.
you may not have to sit here while we hear about all the Yankee Point
Yeah.
parcels.
Right.
Everybody ready? Mr. Irwin,
Yeah, hey.
you can come on forward if you want to, buddy.
Good to see you.
How you doing?
I didn't know you were on this committee.
I couldn't get away from it. I
Love
enjoyed
it
it,
so much.
enjoyed it so much the last two.
Yeah.
But welcome, buddy. We've got your information pulled up here on the screens.
Yeah, and I was speaking to, who was I speaking to? Crystal?
Yes, right here.
She set up the appointment. Is that Crystal? Hi,
Yep.
Crystal.
Yep.
So, it's pretty straightforward. I wrote a letter, and unfortunately, I still had my address in Williamsburg, so it took me a little bit, but in December 11th, I wrote a letter basically outlined that in the letter that I received, it talks about fair market value. And my only point is, we closed late August of '22, and the price of the house was $495. And so it was, or has been assessed at $558. It was $588, and it dropped to $558. And my point is, A, you know, I've been there less than a year, can be moved closer to the $495 based on the fair market value. That's my whole point.
Sure, sure.
I don't know if square footage comes in or anything like that, but
1764, Brian?
that's actually a little inflated, because and I'm not sure if it was including the screen-in porch or the garage, but I had the floors done, and actually it's 1712.
Okay.
I don't know if that matters.
It does, yeah, we will make sure they're accurate.
Thank
so
you, appreciate it.
We'll make that change to 1712.
Yep.
Is that the amount of square footage that the floor people
It
came up
was,
with?
the floor was 1440, and then there's 2 bathrooms, 88 square feet, 60 square feet. There's a big island that we have, and then we did carve out some room in the garage of 78 feet to make a laundry room. So that total is 1712.
That's the interior floor space, right?
Yes, yeah. Now, again, there's a screened-in porch and a garage, my understanding, at
But
least
that's
when I was
not
in Williamsburg, that
heating
doesn't
and
count.
cooling. Right. Yeah, because they're different on here, Brian. Their screen porch is 288 square foot, and then garage is 575 square foot.
Yeah.
Wait, one of the discrepancies with square footage is that when they do this, they include the exterior walls, whereas if you're just
Oh.
doing
And that's what they might have done.
floor, so that,
They might have included the garage, maybe. I don't know.
Well, not so much
Because we
the
did add
garage, but-
78 for the laundry room.
yeah, like if the house is 20 by 20 on the exterior,
Yep.
then you're 400 square feet, whereas if you just measured the floor space inside of the house, you'd be somewhat less than that, because you wouldn't be including the exterior walls, which is considered, so probably 50
52 square foot difference.
square foot could
Yeah.
come up just with the walls of the house.
And actually, they just took it off the old tax card, so.
And so he had the note in there, inside is being redone.
I've been working on it.
Okay.
David knows, it was a project.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was, yeah. Does anybody have any questions, Mr. Irwin? Yeah, that's quite a jump from where the improvements were previously.
How so?
I said it's quite a jump from where the improvements were
Oh, yeah,
previously.
yes, yeah, yeah.
$100,000.
Yeah. And that's my only
Yeah.
point, you know, and I do appreciate everyone's help here, or time. And is it something that you just take it under advisement, you just let me know, or you make a decision right now? I'm not-
No, so what we'll do is after the last hearing today, we'll
Okay.
go through and deliberate case by case.
Okay,
And then send you something to the home address
okay,
and mailed in 2-3 weeks' time, so.
Perfect. All right.
But we try to go through and look at your property to other ones and.
Right.
Look at fair market value, but dive into exactly why the assessor tried to value it
right,
where they did, so.
right, okay.
Trying to make rhyme and reason is a little bit tough these days, but
Sounds good. I
We do
know,
our
it
best.
sounds like you got a little bit of a medicine ball handed to you, so.
that's right.
Appreciate your time, and thank you for your efforts, and go from there.
Great, Brian.
All
Great
right.
seeing you, buddy.
Okay, take care.
Yeah.
David, I'll be following up with you about something I'm thinking of doing moving forward, so.
Okay.
But on a side note.
Sounds good,
You guys have
buddy.
a great day.
Thank you, Brian.
Sir.
All right, let's go back to Young.
From a fair market value standpoint, 1320 square feet, 290 in that area.
Too high.
Yeah.
I'd say considerably too high.
I think making the factor 100 on sort of off-water homes.
Well, how about the dilapidated house next door? Because we gave well, that was given for Howard having depreciated in a dilapidated house next door.
Yep. I agree.
And that's something they have no control over.
Right.
Yep. So
So-
factor to 100 and then a economic at 10.
Economic at 10?
Yep.
That's what the assessor did for Howard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like 5 years ago, we didn't give Howard really anything for it because we hadn't really seen any, you know,
Anything
a
else
way to
combined.
do it. But now we've got
Yeah.
kind of an established mechanism that the assessor used for taking something like that into account, so.
Is everybody good with those two changes? Mm-hmm. 3487, Crystal? Factor from 103 to 100. We're gonna give it economic depreciation of 10%. And on the site, we need to change the like it says easement from paved to gravel. On the site, where it says easement paved, we just need to change the paved to gravel. All right. Going down the line, we'll go to Ruth Fast next. Did I hear her right that it wasn't so much land, it was just an improvement value here?
Yeah.
She just didn't think that she could get that for it.
Yeah, she said that there are a couple of houses around here that have sold in the past 2 to 3 years, 2 to 4 years.
That's right, we were gonna look up Estates Lane, weren't we?
Yeah.
It's still a pretty substantial jump in that home site, too.
Yeah.
90,000, yeah.
And why? Is that her?
Oh.
No, this
that's
is
on
one
the
that just
neighbors
closed, what,
2 years ago.
2 years ago now.
I remember that place. It's cute.
675, only 872 square feet.
5 acres, 291 feet of frontage. This was a lot.
So that's right next door to her. It looks like it would be. I don't know that for sure.
156F
No?
is right here.
Over that side. Okay.
Yeah,
And 156A is right next door to her.
that was the house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little tiny house.
Well, you
And they
want
do have pretty views.
to see Brophy. PHY.
just trying to look it up on, dude, this is 102 Estates Road, is that right?
Yes.
All right, so land value here,
Ooh,
wow. 160. That's right next door.
yeah.
Well, that's what hers was in 2019.
They bumped it to 250. All right, so they kept the residual the same. What's on the other side? This one. This is her, right? E.
Yes.
Yeah, they probably tried to bump her up because of the mini little point.
Yeah, I
room,
mean,
guess.
156A did have a little tiny bit of marsh, but I mean, it wouldn't,
The house is sitting significantly further
yeah,
back.
yep.
No.
Bert.
Burt Net. B-U-R-T-N-E-T-T. Is that right?
I can't see it.
I can't either. All right, land value. That's 250.
Huh.
So maybe, maybe the assessor thought as you get closer to the end,
Yeah. I guess.
L-E-A-M-N.
Hmm?
250.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, you just hit her with more depreciation?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. She said it needs a roof, the roof's original, needs updating, needs a pier. I did make a note for the pier that they only gave it 10% depreciation,
Yeah. Yep.
so,
Factor could go back to 110.
Yeah.
That's something we've been,
and then move physical depreciation up for 20 years and, because the physical depreciation didn't change at all from last time.
Nope.
15% on physical. And I've seen mostly kind of doubled. Is everybody okay with those two changes?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay. 156E, factor from 116 to 110. And physical depreciation from 7 to 15. All right. Zygmatic.
I was thinking Zygmanaic. I was way off. How'd you get that right? I saw that and the first thing that popped in my head was, I
Neil,
wonder if
I-
Dave is gonna try this one.
I-
You called them beforehand, you know these
No,
people,
no,
right?
literally, before I said their name, they were sitting down, I kept looking down, I was like, just go
I
with
would've
it.
totally
Go with your
butchered
gut, just try it.
I would have butchered it, for sure.
I was thinking it was Eastern European or something. I was gonna try and.
I was praying, because I was like, if not, Neil's gonna tear me up on this one. All right. Let's see, 26, there we go. Oak Hill Road.
It's a pretty spot there. I remember when this one was on the market. I don't know if it's worth pulling up. As I recall, there was like a bunch of trees kind of planted. One of those where somebody had a big view and was like, I love trees. So they planted a bunch of trees and then the trees kind of blocked the view.
Oh, really?
I think it has a sand beach. I don't know if it would show up on any MLS because it was back in 2016.
Some of those do.
2016 is when they bought it?
Yeah,
All right, let's
the
check.
560.
What's the physical?
41 Broad Reach, two different words.
41 Broad Reach.
This only goes back 5 years, right?
Yeah.
It may show up on Matrix.
On this website, do we not get Williamsburg?
No, not anymore.
Listings?
I think that's been several years now. Williamsburg was part of the co-op
That's what I thought at one time.
when they first did the co-op thing, but I think it was pretty quickly thereafter that Williamsburg, for whatever reason, decided not to
Okay.
participate.
I just had one I had to look at in Matthews and I couldn't find the listing and was wondering why.
Here we go, Neil. Oh, yeah, they did provide some pictures, all right, so you think that's still kind of the view?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, you're on the big part of the river right there. See, that's the person who had it, or like they put all these plants in there, like on
I gotcha.
purpose. So they were all like a whole bunch of youngish trees and stuff. Man, back before coastal imagery was around, huh?
Yeah. The old cell phone, take a picture and upload it. All right, so we're not, really nothing with land, it's,
Yeah, land value didn't change. Just trying to think of what,
They were talking about having the drain field being on the adjacent property.
Yeah.
So why can't we give them some sort of functional depreciation and,
to me, your drain field being on someone else's property is a benefit to you.
Right,
It's the
right.
other property that, when you've got a drain field, now maybe you gotta like not drive over,
Depreciate.
maybe you gotta not drive over the,
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
the pipe that's pumping it out there, but by not having the drain field on your property, that frees up more land for you to do stuff
Yeah.
with.
Right.
The
Yeah.
If you're gonna mess with somebody, then it should be the property that's got someone else's drain field on it.
okay.
It's a depreciation because.
Right, he was saying his drain field was on someone else's property, not that.
and the driveway for that property's on his
Right.
land, yeah.
Well, you lower the factor back down to 110.
I could see doing that. The physical depreciation, they doubled, which
Right.
is what we've seen a lot. So that seems like they did the right thing there, factored down to 110.
91, wow.
I'm trying to think of what's sold out there. I feel like it would be a desirable property that you are over there in Upper Lancaster. 2,300 square feet.
J, 26 J21.
There have been some sales down that way, down Yankee Point way.
Didn't you mention the pier needing work?
Yeah, I think the pier is original, so 91 pier.
Well, what if we did the factor from 116 to 110, and then give them a little bit more depreciation on pier, maybe 25 to 50%?
Okay.
Yeah.
On the pier?
Yeah,
All right.
I think he said that'll need to be replaced. Does everybody good with those two changes? Ms. Davis, you good?
Yes, sir. No problem.
Good.
Yep.
All right, 26J21, factor down from 116 to 110. And then on the pier, both sections, there's two pier sections, increase in depreciation from 25 to 50%. Todd's not here yet. Go ahead to Ramos.
Keep it rolling. Lighthouse Creek, I think we're gonna get everybody
Did everybody's property from White House Green?
on Lighthouse Creek in here before it's all said and done.
Oh, that's right, they're right here at the end. Do
Okay,
you remember
so-
showing this house or seeing it, Jan, or?
I've never been to this one. I don't know
Is
anything
that,
about this one.
is that the driveway where you used to turn to go to Captain Tom's? And go, do you have to go like past that?
Oh,
Is that
really?
where this is?
That'd be at the end of,
River Road, Shootings Ferry.
oh, maybe it is?
It's
I don't
gotta,
know.
I guess it's gotta be, cause that last road is,
Yeah,
It must be.
it's right there, yeah.
Wow.
Is that McLean? Do we need to look at what we did for their land again?
They closed.
I don't think I've ever been down to the end of that little road.
When we kept.
I never, I know I
And they
never
closed
have.
now, right?
I think so. There's a guy there, but I don't know if he's doing
I think
anything.
I heard it was closed. I know some people that used to work up
So
All
we
right, what
paid
was-
$350 for it in 2021. We think he's made an improvement or two since then.
there. Said flooding, the share well.
That physical
Neighbor
depreciation
probably
at
don't
40% seems a little bit on the light side, given the inspection report that we saw.
Yeah, that place was pretty rough, yeah.
I feel like we could definitely do at least 260 on the land, and maybe even a little bit more. Trying to remember what we did last time where somebody had, but their point of land was further back in.
It's like 260 or 240, wasn't it? I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we did, right? Was it McLean that's right there next to them? That's the one where they have the guest house. And
Hazard Lane right here.
there's Hazard, and then maybe we looked at all of these before,
We
but
did.
then
Yeah.
just out towards the Cortoman
What
from them.
Right up here?
That one
Yeah,
right there.
those two we looked at.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
forget
because
if we,
We did those, yeah.
what we did for their land.
Are they all on hazard?
These are on, what's this, Foster Lane? Who was the owner? Hang on one second.
Yeah, because we changed
Miser?
those.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, the house on this one, needed a lot of work.
Is this the one you said you showed several times?
Yeah.
Before you bought it?
Yeah.
You really have to park and walk to get to it like he was saying? I've just never been to it's right in
No,
my
you can
backyard,
park,
but
I
I've
mean, you
never
can park
been.
next to the house.
I think they were saying that sometimes because of
Oh, because
The
of the
flooding.
water.
Flooding,
Yeah.
yeah.
that.
Well, I didn't know if he was just being facetious or
No.
if he was.
Didn't he say he had a
The
skip or
boat
something?
ramp seems like, I don't know if that's what the economic depreciation is.
He likes it.
It's
but
the
having
one you
The
said
boat
something.
ramp the neighbors can use, right?
Yes, I think these people in here all have, he gives them rights to it, I guess.
Didn't you say something about his bulkhead was tore up?
The bulkhead's all torn up
Oh, yeah.
around the,
But he didn't have pictures, did he?
no.
And then the 60,000 in riprap, that seems,
Yeah, but that's a massive amount of.
yeah,
Oh, that
that's,
shoreline? Oh, I
Yeah.
guarantee it. Oh, yeah.
is that, have they all been $100 a foot for riprap?
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, if, was it, you know, oh, Lord, Jan, the big rocks.
Armorstone?
Farmerstone, thank you.
All right, so here's his property.
I think we talked about something about that last time, right? You can't, we haven't been seeing depreciation on riprap,
I
Boy.
don't see,
Really,
I
though.
don't see much riprap.
Yeah, me either.
It's just
And
overgrown.
there wasn't $60,000 of riprap on the old tax card.
There's a little bit right there by the pier.
That does not look like
So
60,000.
over here, this is where the bulkhead is for the boat ramp?
Right.
Well, that's something,
Yeah, that seems pretty hefty.
It's not on the old tax card,
Oh, hold on a minute.
That was another parcel.
Oh,
is it?
This is
Okay, no,
parcel
it
right
is.
here.
Oh, no, it was on there. Never mind. I was looking on the wrong spot.
He's got riprap.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
just hard to see.
And it was 60,000 on the last one. I was
Was it?
looking in the wrong spot.
Okay.
Wild. That still seems like,
Right, Miser, which is 3134, y'all dropped the home site down to 260.
That's right here.
Okay.
and there was two parcels. One stayed the same and one went to 260?
Yeah,
And they were,
the Misers also had 3135, and that's 2.708 acres at 275 too, and that stayed the same.
Okay.
So 260.
260.
then otherwise it's just doing a bigger, I mean, I don't think that's a $600,000 property.
I would agree with that.
That's a cool point of land.
It is pretty.
It seems like it's got a decent amount of elevation,
I
actually.
know. That's just kind of shocking me that it
That,
floods.
Yeah, I pulled up the, it's all AE.
yeah.
Wow. Cool.
You brought the factor down. Did you do physical depreciation of? That's
Increase
pretty nice.
physical?
So those pictures make it look better than it did in person, David?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that deck up here.
Pictures have the ability to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Do enough editing, anything can look nice.
Yeah.
I think the issue there was more because the land was just so low.
I think that we've felt a little bit hamstrung with some of these because they're all kind of assessed the same. I think that one that was further back, we did a little bit lower than 260 because we thought it wasn't as
For the-
potentially as
for the
valuable
lot?
as the ones that were further out, or maybe thought that their flooding was a little bit. So I think you can definitely go to 260. I feel like if we went lower than that, then we would need to kind of go around and,
No, I think we go with
Look at-
260 because the one that was right next door to it, we did 260. So
Yeah.
I think. But depreciation or something for his flood, I mean, did we do anything else for the flooding for anybody else?
I think we've kind of said that kind of gets wrapped into the land value,
Okay.
right? Have we done anything? I mean, obviously you get some
I think we
access
did,
issues.
no, I think, did we give like economic for flooding with that one where they,
Yeah.
Tolls Point?
Well, it's got
They
5
had the
right
pictures
now.
where they walked out and there's all
Yeah.
flooding everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's got 5% already for economic.
Yeah.
House is 114 years old.
You do 60% depreciation? I
Yeah.
feel like there's kind of a number. I feel
Yeah.
like, I don't think we need to get all the way back to 350 that he purchased it for in 2021, but, is it $500,000?
Well, if
Property.
we go to lot to 260, physical from 40 to 60%, and keep economic at 5% for the flooding,
Yeah.
What does that get us to? I mean, does 500 in the market seem reasonable, or are you trying to get closer to 350 that he paid for it?
Yeah, but that was a 21.
21?
So I guess you
And
did-
hopefully
different
he's-
market, I mean, I think he's probably 500 is
Yeah,
probably,
I
you know,
would see it going for 500.
Because you got a boat ramp, you got a little point of land. What's everybody think? Good on those changes?
Yeah.
Yep. I was gonna try it. So 10 phases to-
Hello?
What do you think, Neil?
Sorry, I'm trying to do the math, and
Okay.
if you take away, my brain isn't mathing today. I'm sorry.
I'm looking at, I forgot to take the lot from 280 to 260, but if you go to 60% on the physical depreciation with the rest of the stuff the same, it puts you at 541, 720 something,
So
roughly.
That'd be 521.
Yeah, roughly. If I did it right.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
That's getting into the ballpark anyway. I think
Where,
it's-
yeah, where he was.
Yeah. All right, everybody good with those changes?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
All right, Crystal, 3137, home site from 280 to 260, and physical depreciation from 40 to 60%. You mean, oh, Todd Patterson, okay. Let's do Santana next, because Davenport's got 4.
Okay.
Miss Santana was the house on Windmill Point Road.
Yeah, does not seem like to me that's gained a whole lot of value since they purchased it in 2020.
No.
Probably decrease in value, arguably.
Yeah. You'd be able to sell it for 65,000 with the pictures that she's got. But maybe it's gone up in value a bit since 2020. So factors should definitely not be 108.
No.
Can you do the picture on Bamanette for this
Yep.
one? I just want to try to figure out which house this is.
Right-hand side, going
Okay.
down.
Okay.
Oh.
That's the subject?
Yep. Boy, that's, that was a subject, probably 12, 15 years ago.
Many moons.
Yeah. Mold, termite infected, non-habitable,
Asbestos roof.
asbestos roof. Let's see here, if we did, let's see, 2688.
It's gonna be the one right before. Right before. Should be.
Yeah, if we had done it. Hmm. House look like a million, look like the house was more.
Does it?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Same, man. Almost 100 years old. I guess it is.
Yeah. So what are you thinking, factor and depreciation?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's worth going any further back than 105, what it was before?
Oh, yeah, I think the factor needs to be probably,
100.
what's that?
You just do
100.
factor 100, and then that way the physical depreciation is just the one number that you're, because gosh, it certainly was a cute little house, and I think it will be again when they're
Done.
done, if they can get done with that. But then the question is the old,
You want to do less on the factor, 95?
yeah, with
To-
that
to me-
flooding and that water.
To me, a factor of 100 means that you go up to a property, it looks pretty good for
Yeah.
that age of a property.
That's
mean,
what
so-
baffles me, is the GC.
So why should it be even 100?
Right,
Why should it be in good condition?
yeah.
Well, I didn't see a whole lot of pictures from the outside, but and she said they were focusing on the outside. So if it pretty much looks like this,
Well, I think
From the
these are
outside.
old pictures. I don't
Yeah.
think we can, the pictures on her phone that she bought us were pretty telling.
yeah.
Yeah,
So they just brought the GC over from
yeah.
The previous card.
like, why would this house not have gotten a new photo?
Because
That's an easy
I
one.
bet nobody's been to this house in probably 25 years.
Yeah.
They just look at the old card and say, yep,
Yeah.
we'll just go to whatever the 152 a square foot is.
We've seen factors of 90, so it's
Go back to 90?
factor of 90 and then physical depreciation, whatever, and we're trying to get to like $100,000. Are we trying to get to 65,000? Are we trying to,
What would 50% look like? Appreciation. What would that do to her?
so if you're at 268,
65, should be 40.
897.
I mean, it's not, they said they even had they got to bring in a steel beam because they took that load-bearing wall out. So you got pretty much 4 walls.
I mean, we just did, yeah, we did 60% on the other guy's house, which is in better shape than this is, right?
Yeah.
Well, if we go to 90 and 60,
So factor of 90 and physical of 60.
Let me see. 2019, they replaced the way.
I mean, it seems reasonable based on the photos she provided.
Right,
Had we had not had those photos, we'd be looking at
yeah,
this and the card going, well,
yeah.
I mean, potentially it could even go higher, right? But that gets you,
I saw it one time.
what's that on the physical, Neil?
like, that's putting you around, that's getting you close to the last assessment anyway. Which maybe that's fair. I mean, hopefully within the next couple of years they get it together. And of course, that's not gonna get picked up.
Right. So we want to keep it at 90 and 60?
Factor 90, physical depreciation 60.
RJ, y'all good with that?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
35, 249C, factor from 108 to 90, and physical depreciation from 38 to 60.
I don't see with those pictures how you can argue against that. That was
No.
bad shape. Feel sorry for that guy.
Yeah.
Got a lot of work ahead of him.
The money pit.
All right, Yerke. Yerke had the 2 buildings on there. Ms. Davis, you'd asked him, I think he said 45 acres was being farmed, but it was 55.
Yeah.
And the home's been vacated for about 15 years.
RJ, you know where this is?
Yeah, this is that big plantation style home behind Bethel Church.
1395.
It's actually, it would like the cemetery at Bethel Church. It's directly behind that.
Oh,
I don't be on the radar.
Yeah, most people don't. And I think the road to it's lined in trees. It's, you don't, it's only certain angles you can see the house back
Yeah.
there, but it's a gorgeous old place.
'Cause it's-
wow.
the other child used to teach there, Susan Jet.
Mm-hmm.
See, I know something about that.
Yeah,
Oh.
both of my boys went to preschool there,
Oh,
and
they did?
my little girl's gonna start there this fall
Oh,
at
Yerke?
at Bethel.
Uh-huh.
her mother-in-law used to help her, Susan.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Susan and my mom are real good friends.
Are they?
Yeah,
Oh, I had this thing still there.
I've known Susan and Tom a long, long time.
Is it?
Well, I should say they knew me. They're older than I am.
Oh, wow.
Tommy.
Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Yeah, 'cause he looks old. Last time I seen him with his mom, still. I
Wow.
don't know. Sometimes.
Yeah, 5 windows across the front.
Yeah. I guess I've just never looked in that direction.
What does he do?
Yeah, that's pretty.
Right now, Tom's working at the wood yard.
I don't think he'd sell it for $1 million, though.
He's kind of retired because he's been doing a lot of work on their house,
Oh,
fixing their house up and stuff.
but they was built another one, didn't
They did.
And this is when we don't have the tax card, do we?
Yeah.
Here it is, right here.
Oh, yeah.
he? The daughter,
She's
That's pretty there, but the factor of 165, I forget what we did, I think.
yes, ma'am.
For
Amon
Mr.
was,
Dunn's.
yeah,
And
That was a
I'm
halfway-
friends, Tommy.
I mean, that should be a
He did some
higher-
work on the house that I lived in when I first moved
those are the
back
kind of
home.
properties you need to compare it to.
Yeah.
Either that, or
Yeah.
I think,
Started doing something in the garage, you see.
yeah, it might be worth $1 million if somebody goes in and does a full remodel, but that would cost several hundred thousand. I think he was okay with the last assessment. I'd be okay to sort of
They went to school together.
budget the things to get down close to
That was 718.7.
get back close to that,
Mm-hmm.
unless we want to spend the time to look up comps, or see what we did on Amon's. I feel like even 700 is kind of high, given the
I know.
He's still working on it.
datedness of it.
You didn't say York, that's a dog.
That's pretty
York is the man, York is the dog. Let me see, back in my- what was-
That's a big house.
4,100 square foot.
It's a beautiful, big old plantation style.
I guess I just never ever paid attention.
What is it?
It's,
It's a Foxy.
yeah, that's the old name of it.
You know the name.
The car we've got says factor of 98.
That's on the little guest house.
That's on the small one.
Yeah. That's why there's no land value on that little one that we have. 'cause
Ah,
that's-
okay,
they're just
okay.
doing that as the separate.
I got
That's
you.
what I kept on looking at.
I got you.
Yeah, the big house is 165.
I would just kind of reduce that, either that, right, factor of physical depreciation
Yeah.
Yeah.
to get it.
What was physical?
Back, I think it was probably over-assessed in 2019,
Probably so.
but they didn't come before us then, but that seems,
What's that? No, that's one.
Oh, wait a minute.
there's- That's the
This is the
smaller
one we don't have
house.
that,
Oh,
we don't have the
Yeah.
field data sheet.
field data sheet.
oh, okay.
See, the bigger
right.
house has, see here,
Is there a chance to take a peek on the field data sheet for this one?
Smaller
I know we had this happen a couple of
Yeah.
times where,
big house with the land.
Then I have to borrow a friend.
Yeah.
Call it clean copy.
Oh, okay, okay.
or I guess maybe just look at the previous
That's what you really
The
say.
old tax
That's
card
a lot
from
more than
2019.
100,000. If it was, I wanna go buy it.
Yes.
And flip it.
I've always been fascinated with that place. As a,
You didn't tell me where it is.
So it's be a factor and a depreciation
You know where
change for
Bethel Church is?
both
Yeah.
of the houses.
behind that.
That house is?
Yep. Well, really just for, I mean, I think probably the value on that little house is,
If you're
Close
headed
enough, right?
towards Route 354,
you know, you really complained about that.
right before you get to the cemetery.
1,600 square feet,
there's a set of
120,000.
white- It's a gate right there, a white fence
Yeah,
gate.
conceivably, we
That's the
could look at
driveway
doing
to it.
more since he said it hasn't been
And then if you
occupied.
look beyond
But it's already got a
the
physical
cemetery, when you go
depreciation
down
of
the road,
55%.
You'll see it, setback on there.
Oh,
With that one up 50%.
you mean you would have to turn right on 354 to see
goodness.
it?
No, before you get to it,
Before I get to the stop sign, I would see it? Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's great.
Just hit it north physical. I mean, he didn't have any pictures of the, we don't know what the other other thing looks like, the other house.
No, it wasn't any on here.
We waiting on them.
We're waiting on the 2019 card for this one,
Oh, okay,
for Yerke.
okay. I was weird in my mouth, I thought I had missed something.
So if we can go back to whatever factor was in the old card, I guess. Maybe up
You're looking at the
depreciation a little
the big house.
bit. We're looking at the small one first,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So the 98 factor,
in 55. We're just gonna see what the old card had on it.
Nobody don't have, if you look at the, what looks like the field data sheet, RJ, that's actually got all the up-to-date data.
yeah,
The factor is 165.
I thought that was pretty back in the day.
Land didn't change so little, it's just the two houses.
That's 2018 for both.
Yeah, I think that was the same thing on Eamon Duggan, so the physical depreciation was the same, and the factor was the same.
From 2019 and now,
Yeah,
on both houses?
43.95 on the little house and 48. Huh,
I think if we just take the factor on the main house to 125, it gets us pretty much where we want to be.
On Ann and Dutton's, y'all did factor to 165, physical depreciation to 40%.
oh, wow.
Do you know what the factor
Well,
was before?
but Hammond's, he lives there though.
Yeah.
The husband, this has been unoccupied for 15 years.
We could definitely hit it for depreciation.
Yeah.
And I feel like this should not have the same factor as Eamon Duggan's
Yeah.
from a
Since it's not.
historical.
No.
If you get a factor of 100, I think it pulls like $400,000 of value off, so that seems like you're getting too low. There's
Do like-
obviously something about the way that they assess these.
Do like a 115 and 120 on the factor, maybe?
Yeah. What do you want to do on the factor and fiscal to 43 to 50?
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
You okay with that?
certainly.
There's also that economic on there, 6%. I wonder what that is.
Let's see a new.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, on the little house, the factor was the same as before, 98?
It was 95 and 48,
Or if we take it back to 95
yeah.
and up depreciation, since it's been vacant for 15 years,
65,
65%, yeah.
yeah.
Everybody good on those two changes?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. 1395 on the main house factor from 165 to 115. And physical depreciation from 43 to 50. And on the smaller house, factor from 98 to 95. And physical depreciation from 55 to 65. All right, let's do Chuck Marquette's. Chuck was just after Julian's. Yeah, it sure is. Dream Point.
Yep.
$33, $134.8.
All right, so here's the parcel we're looking at. This one here, 134A. This parcel here on the point is this house right here. So this parcel is back here. And this is
That's all.
the water frontage right here.
That's all he's got.
Yeah. So we
What
have
about the 33, 134E, just to see
34, 130.
the little, it's got a little pipe stem going out to the water, to the left.
Up and to the left.
Keep going left,
Right
right
there.
there.
Okay. Whittington.
50.
Where's my mom at?
Land value 50,000. So there's the second one.
Whittington, is that what it is? No. It is. Whittington. I swear I did not, that was a typo.
All right, best joke of the day. Good work.
I swear it's a typo. W and S are right there beside each other. And this is on YouTube as well, that's great. That's great. All right. 22.5 for that one.
So they did a per acre thing, that's weird.
All right, so did we look at the 33,106
6.
on that one?
Yeah. Pittman Dixon. They're giving a home site on that one, 45,000.
Have you been on that? Is that, is the one,
I haven't been on these other two now.
I could see where potentially that's
But
a little bit worse, you know, right, if all you can do is drag a kayak down there, but I mean, it's hard to tell from this level. Just assign a home site value of 50,000 or 75,000 or. Because it's got the road going across it, probably makes it kind of hard. There aren't many little parcels like that around where you just got this little,
I'm trying to think, is there anything else?
That is deceiving, 'cause that sure doesn't look like any .99 of an acre.
yeah, that's, yeah.
I know when I did the house to the right of it, there is a swale,
Right here.
yeah.
Yep.
I guess it's just kind of long and skinny enough.
The 33,106 had a home site of 45,000.
Yeah.
The other one was, this one here was a lot lower than that, but. At least this lot you do have frontage on Dream Point Road, so. Y'all just want to assign it a home site value? What are you thinking?
I was trying to think if you try to sell that little piece of land, then you could run down there and throw a kayak in. I don't know if you can throw a kayak in or not, but I mean, it is touching the water. I guess if the other one was touching the water too, would you be able to sell that for 60,000? The .992 an acre, or is that?
What do you think, Jan?
I bought everything for $555 and '05. Is that right? That doesn't seem right. No, $850. No, he sold it, that's right,
Chuck bought both those parcels for $850.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the other parcel has a house on it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful view.
This one right here, Neil?
Yeah. And then you were saying that he sold,
That's when he sold to his sister.
Okay.
But he kept this, because his driveway comes back in here,
Yeah.
across that land.
I would say 75?
That was in my head
Too
too. I
high?
mean, I don't think we're gonna have an exact number,
Yeah.
but it would all just sort of depend on exactly if you can actually do anything with that little
I know.
touch or two. I don't know. I think 75 kind of splits the difference.
Everybody good with that?
What's that,
75,000?
on the home side?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. 33, 134A, home site of 75,000. And Brian Irwin. And 23C. All right, this is down Windmill Point Road, right-hand side, Snug Harbor.
Oh, you are the Oyster House, okay. Yep, yep, yep.
Low, low down in here. This is a little inlet off the river, comes in. House was inherited. Need a lot of work. A lot of work. So.
Factor can go down to 110 pretty easily.
Okay.
Do you wanna make the change to the square footage that he gave us, or
No, I don't think so,
leave it?
because,
It sounded like what you were saying with them, they probably did the outside walls and he did the inside floor, and that's the difference. So
yeah,
Yeah.
We'll leave square
Leave
footage.
it where it is.
yeah, yeah.
But you said this is in rough shape,
Um,
or needed a lot of work?
yeah, it needed a lot of work. I mean, it needed complete upgrading, updating, kitchens, floors, bathrooms, but it is also, it's waterfront.
Yeah.
That's kind of this one's a little bit unique in that, right, they have the note in here that he's redoing it. So it was bought in
Oh, it's inside,
22,
yeah.
so it should definitely be higher than
What do you pay for it?
he paid for it.
Yeah.
And we don't know how much he's done or exactly what the assessor saw.
Right.
But going back to 110 on the factor, I think is
Reasonable.
reasonable.
Yeah.
It is low. It is a unique, because you're just on that little bit of a kind of, I don't know what you call that, little body of water that it's on.
Shallow?
I think it's got all right water depth,
Decent
doesn't
water
it?
depth, 2-3
But-
feet. It got pretty views though, I mean.
Yeah, you used to have pretty views.
All right, everybody good with just making the factor 110?
Okay.
Okay. 3923C, change the factor from 116 to 110. And I guess Mr. Todd Patterson, nothing from him? Okay, well, let's go on to Kathy Davenport's properties then. Might be him now.
Yep.
All right, 3559B. All right, this is Kathy's personal home. All right, so land value, this is parcel J. Parcel J is here. So these three parcels Kathy also sold, so 185. $200. And 185. So, home site really is right there in line.
Yeah, it didn't go up much.
No. Improvements, factor went from 105 to 111, physical went from 25 to 30.
The factor is always an easy one.
Yeah, Kathy hasn't done anything to the house. So I think factor back down to 105. And,
What's the, so right, you're right there with the fish house.
what's that?
So you're right there with the.
Right here.
Fish house.
Yep.
Across. I know that you're talking about with the neighboring property, total value of 477 right there doesn't seem terribly far off
Yeah.
for the location and not knowing anything about the inside. But I think going back to the factor of 105 will help.
1970s house.
Do you think 30% physical depreciation is enough for that? Is it 40 years old?
It's,
Is it in relatively good shape though? They take good care of stuff?
yeah, I mean, it's just her, since Ray passed, I mean, it's, but. I mean, I could see bumping the physical from 30 to 40 because of the age and nothing's been done.
Did Todd do an appraisal on this one?
No, Ty did the
That was on
appraisal on
the
the fish house.
fish house, okay.
I'll pull it up here. Yeah.
105 and 40?
Let's do it.
You all okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. Ms. Davis, all good with that one? Okay. 3559B, Crystal. Factor from 111 to 105. And physical depreciation from 30 to 40. All right.
Keep the door open.
Let's see, 3559D. So this is a lot right beside her.
Nothing on it.
Why'd
They
they just,
adjusted it down to
10%?
10%, yeah.
Wonder why that is.
It seems like the home site value should just either be,
The same as next door, right?
yeah,
I mean, it's,
but they kind of got that by adjusting it down 10%. I don't know why they got it.
there's nothing on the tax card that shows any, is it?
Is all of that pretty much wooded? Is it?
It is wooded somewhat. That lot is. I know these two lots right here, Kathy's sister owned, Beth Goodman, And both of these lots sold last year for $175,000 for 2 lots.
Wow.
There must have been something, because you see there's a 4.7% economic before
Oh,
on
yeah.
the field sheet.
You think that was done because of the fish house across the creek?
I don't
Then
know.
why wouldn't it be on everybody else's?
Right.
Right, I don't know.
I mean, I guess I would take the home site to 200 like all the other ones.
Yeah.
And then I guess leave the 10% there because I don't know why he did that and there was something on the other one.
Okay.
And just kind of chalk that up to trust the appraiser.
Everybody okay on that?
Move it to
Yeah.
200
Yeah, from
with the
220 to 200.
10%.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, 3559D, just changing the home site from 220 to 200. All right, 29-100. All right, let me, all right, here, Kathy got tired of doing appraisal report. So here's the property that we're looking at, so. He's hit a couple tax map parcels in here. So he came up at 585 and used Johns Neck Road. That's the old Morgan Seafood place at the point.
Yeah.
212 Carter's, that's Hyder Harris's, next to Carter's Cove Marina, where the county purchased it to put in the, in Deepwater Lane, Reedville. I don't know what that one was.
Okay, and then you got 200 on,
Lee Point.
Oh, that's just as you go over the bridge, I bet.
Okay, yeah.
this almost seems like a zoning or like a land use issue kind of thing, right? Like if you're,
For these commercial ones?
right, I mean, they're not being assessed as commercial, but they're being assessed as a home site.
And you know what? It's not, because there's no septic. They have to have a porta potty there.
I wonder if that zoning's really right, because it's saying R1 here. I would imagine it'd be M1 or,
Or it's just something that's been
No, you know what?
grandfathered in.
I think the Weingarts were approved for the business use way back when. I think they've been grandfathered in.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever changed the zoning on it.
I think this is almost a question for Marlon, how should the county be assessing it? I think if they wanted to turn around and sell the land, if they decided we're not gonna do the business anymore, and they wanted to sell that land and to someone to come build a house, it would probably have a lot of value, because you could take all those buildings and knock them down and
Right.
do something really cool.
Yeah.
So how should it be assessed.
I agree.
I don't think we've really seen, because all these are, okay, right, so it says they're R1 non-conforming. And then does the county ever do anything with something like that? Or if it's a business, you try to,
Yeah, these comparables right here, M1, M1, M1,
Yeah,
they're all industrial.
B1.
B1.
Yeah.
I guess that's Northumberland's thing for waterfront business.
Business, yeah.
a 152% change, that's pretty big. But it looks like it was being done as residential before as well. They had a home site, but the home site was only 80,000 acre. I would, if there was some way for the county to change the way that it assessed it, I think that would be the best.
So from the
Solution.
home site, 0.7, 250, if there was a different way to classify that? Yeah.
Where's what's the 100 A and B that he was including in it?
It looks like, I just added these two up because the .75 and .8 is the 1.55 that Ty is saying on his report, so I don't
Here's A.
There's the A and the B.
B
yeah.
right here.
know if they joined the two.
So we see the A, but we don't have a tax card for the 100 B. But maybe there isn't one because it got
Yeah,
joined?
that's what I'm wondering, if they didn't. one is-
Or that's only 27,500?
Yeah, it's not showing any acreage at all, so. Okay.
So we're looking at,
The only thing she's asked us to look at is 100 and 100A.
so we're looking at 700 and basically 720,000 of assessed value, and Ty came in at 585.
Yeah.
I don't know if we just figure out how to make changes to get it to the appraisal, or if it's worth asking if it should be assessed any
I think we should ask Marlon on this one.
differently.
Can we get Marlon, Crystal, please?
Go back down to his comps to the use, I know those are older sales, so if that's.
Right here, Jan?
Yeah, so 2020, 2022, 2020, so yeah. It's not like he's using 24 comps or anything. And what a gorgeous site. Phew. Views like crazy.
Which one?
This parcel is.
Oh, yeah.
Good gosh.
And so, yeah, the land value jumped on that one too. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if they wanted to sell it, they could, but so how's the county deal with a non-conforming
Right.
zoning for assessment purposes?
Yeah.
Are all these in the same body of water? Mm-hmm. Well, why do classifications are different? Because of how deep it is? What's the difference between an R1 and an M1?
R1 is residential, M1 is industrial. So industrial, you can do a whole lot more stuff. R1 is really, you build a residential home on it.
Okay.
But because they've owned it for so long, they've had a working fish factory operation there. And
Oh.
they grandfathered. Well, these other ones, they could sell it today, and you could have a restaurant, a whole different list of industries who come down and work on those waterfront parcels without having to change the zoning or anything.
But what are the M1s used for now?
So John's Neck property, that was Morgan Seafood, they had an oyster trucking business there.
But it's not there.
No.
No, some of the dilapidated buildings are, but because the buildings are where they were, the person who's buying it can take the square footage and do stuff within the 100-foot
Footprint.
waterfront.
Yep.
Carter's Cove Marina, the county bought that. They had approval for 56 slips in a little oyster house down there. That's where the county's gonna have a new,
Does a government sale
Right, I
count as an
guess.
arm's length transaction?
Does the what now?
If it's bought by the government, is that still considered an arm length transaction? I feel like the government always.
What government? The county
al-
government?
The county, yeah.
that's a good question.
I feel like the government always pays more than a person would. I don't know, I just feel like when someone sees the government coming to buy something,
Jack it up in
Yeah,
price wise.
Yeah,
they,
you're right.
and the county kinda, and whether it's, the government sort of has to pay more, you know, I feel like the same thing for the school. I don't think anybody was, I don't know the exact numbers on that one, I don't think anybody was gonna give Jimmy whatever the county gave him to build the school
Oh,
there for
yeah.
that piece of land.
Right.
But the value for the government is different because the usage is just so different. But I think if it should be potentially a way to help with Ty's thing, if it's gonna be assessed as residential, then I feel like all these commercial improvements shouldn't be valued because they really don't have any value from like a residential standpoint. You're kind of getting hit on both. You're saying your land is worth as much as it is for a residential usage because you have this really high home site, but then you've got all this stuff on the property that really from a residential perspective is kind of a negative. But we're also gonna give you a ton of value. I mean, there's some value there because of the footprints, right? But I think the value of the footprints would be pretty minimal from a residential perspective. It's just kind of a weird, it's a unique one.
Who pays the most tax, the M1 or the R1?
M1.
Is, when Ty writes in there the as-is for the land is 200, is he considering that without improvements? Is that, what is his, what does he mean by that?
Where he's
It's
saying.
right there.
Right here?
The estimated as-is land value is 200,000.
So,
So I'm guessing that's because he's got the improvement value of 245.
plus the existing.
That would
yeah.
be the value of the property per se.
Yeah, so the
Okay.
property, the dirt is 200,000.
Right.
And then you add the improvements in another 245. Or it would be 245.
So what the
I should say.
advantages to the buyer, I assume, for tax purposes or whatever.
Like, I don't think from a residential perspective, if they were gonna sell that land to get somebody to come and build on it, I don't think somebody would they pay 500,000 for that with all that stuff on it? Cause you have to rip all that stuff down to build something on it. But, you know, it might be worth more than 250,000 from a,
Plus, I don't know that it'll perk,
oh,
because I don't know, it's all
They don't have a
concrete and
septic right
gravel,
now.
there's no septic system
Yeah.
there.
There she
They
is.
have a porta potty, that's the only they've been able to operate with the porta potty.
Oh, really?
They got a porta john.
So the fish, oh,
Don't
God.
ask Beth.
Beth, on Davenport's property, we're trying to scratch our head figuring out where the land went from $80,000 to $250,000. And even though it's a R1 non-conforming use, do we go in and just assign it a value for the land, or is there any class or any classification that we should be considering for that parcel?
but the waterfront commercial type properties typically have a home site value.
Well, we don't have many. I mean, this may be one of the very few. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that would be like that. And the fact that it's R1 gives, I guess, gives him the leeway to do it, but I'm with you on why the jump from 80,000 to 250. y'all's discretion, I hate to toss the ball back to you, but if it's R1, I'm almost inclined to say that it should have a house site, but with that said, if there's not a site for septic.
There's no septic, it's all concrete
There
gravel.
shouldn't be a
yeah.
home site then, right?
Well, yeah.
So
It shouldn't be.
if there's no septic, there shouldn't be a home site.
Well, maybe you should do a home site, but you could make an adjustment on the home site value to reflect the fact that it
Right.
doesn't have the capability of having septic.
Okay.
So, you could leave
Have
it at
that other.
250, you could leave it at 250, and then you could adjust it to the right, which I don't know whether yours will show that or not, but you can make an adjustment
Yeah.
to a land value.
Yes, ma'am.
You could have it, because you can't do anything with it other than what it's being used for.
So we could either leave the land value where it is and adjust the land value, or
Or you could
we could just say the land value is not worth 250, it's worth X.
Yeah, you could do it either way.
I guess the same would be true for the other parcel 100A,
Right.
is that land value went up 70,000, kind of same. Okay,
Yeah, you can handle that one of two ways.
okay.
And I don't think she's she's got a place for an office in one of in the newer building, because I went in it when I went there 2 or 3 years ago. And I don't know what she's using the single lot for, but I don't think anybody's living in it. I think she's using
Maybe
it
she sell it.
for office purposes and storage.
Yeah. No, they're not
So,
selling it.
I hand it back to
It's
you.
been in her family
I'm 10
for a
years.
generation or two, then I think her son Bill probably won't.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Did
Thank
you,
you.
did you reassess it after the demolition and,
Because it wasn't enough done. I
okay.
kept sending Fred there. I didn't want to go back.
Bill would say, what are you doing here again, Beth?
Exactly. So I sent the gentleman that worked with Wampler, who picked up our reconstruction, I sent him back. And I think this year may actually be the first year that we got it 100%, and I'm not sure of that.
Okay, so 2023, it says on here CV building. That's the, 2021 was the
And then
demolition.
Jason got whatever else may have been there, or whoever went.
Okay.
So, it's been a while since I've been there, I don't think it's been a while on us still. People change when they can see you out in public and eat you up, but then when you go in your official capacity, it's a whole other ball of wax.
Right, right.
All right.
Thanks, Beth.
Thank you. Well,
Well, what's the bottom line? Always.
so.
I think it's reasonable to-
Say,
Try to get the combined value close to Ty's appraisal,
A
yeah,
home
Based on
site
it
with a
being-
body.
at least how it is. I think you could make the argument if they can't get a septic there, that it should be valued less, but maybe there's a way to get can you get a septic on, so they've tried to put a septic in, David, so they can have a bathroom? or
I
they just-
think they did, before the tornado. I don't think they had any room to do it. There was nowhere even to put an above-ground system.
Yeah.
So they're stuck with having a porta potty.
Well, I'd be game just adjusting things between the two properties to get the total value close to 585. Probably just do it on the home sites,
Just the land value?
yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense that it probably has gone up in value since the last one to some degree, which I think it has if you use 585. Sure. You're right, I mean, is she saying that she's relatively satisfied with the 585? That's still gonna be a big jump compared to,
I took it as she was kind of shocked it was still that high.
that was still
Yeah.
585. Yeah, I feel like those aren't, again, Carter's Cove, the government buying it, I feel like is pretty weird. Well, to me, that kind of doesn't count. Because, they had tried to sell that land a bunch of times, and that was one where there was issues with septics and stuff, right? Because of the setback, and the neighbor had a septic. I guess potentially,
I wonder if
The one
that's
down on the
close.
ends of John's Neck. Are they doing anything with that?
All right now.
So is the easiest thing to do, leave it the classification is and just depreciate it or adjust it?
I think we just change the home site
I think,
from,
yeah.
or the land from 250 to X.
Well, I mean, if you leave it at 250 and adjust it 60%, you're at 100. That's up from the 80 it was last time. Or is that too much of a,
But if it has no
No,
separate,
I'd be okay adjusting the land value to 100 on that one, and then the
and that's
land value
on,
down to 140 or 150 on the other one.
I don't have,
Does that get us close to ties or even a little bit? Again, if you can't put a septic on it, then it's really too high.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that's something, I don't know if there's room on 29, 100A to get a septic. I don't know if, is that something we should?
I don't think so, because this, all this RPA right here,
Yeah.
you're stuck. And I think there's already a septic system on this parcel, I believe, right here. So,
would we be better off to just go back to the ones from 19 there for both parcels? I don't have the card, the old card
it was
For
80,
A.
it was 80,000 before
on A.
on 100, and it was 132 on 100A. My personal opinion is I don't see that anything has changed from 19 and out to say that that lot that it's on has gone up that much.
Why don't we just go back to the old card then? Instead of
On
making all
both,
these
y'all,
adjustments.
y'all agree with that?
I'm good with that.
Jan?
Yeah, because I mean, if you guys were to go in there and try to sell it as it is right now, tell the people there's no septic, you may not get a septic.
It would take a lot of work to figure it out. Usually
Right.
there's some kind of way. I mean, maybe you could get a septic in there if you're willing to, if you didn't have all the infrastructure that they have.
I think they should be told, it should be mentioned somewhere. I think
The
it should be
septic.
mentioned somewhere, you know, in the event someone buys it,
Oh, yeah, for, to go to sell, they'd have to
yeah.
disclose it, doesn't, you know. All right, so we going back to the previous values then?
That's what I feel like, yeah.
Everybody good there?
Yes, sir.
All
But
right.
the only other question being, I mean, their improvements went from 29,000 to 250,000.
And is all
Maybe
that
that's fair
stuff,
because it's all new after the
Right.
tornado.
so all that stuff is subsequent to the or since the tornado, right?
Yes.
And that's all brand-new stuff.
It is, cool,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
So it's still gonna go up in value a significant amount, even taking the land back to 80,
right,
Right,
because you're still getting 200,000.
yeah, but I don't see how we can.
That
adjust
seems
at
to be
all.
justifiable though, right? With the,
because it's brand new, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
I mean, you can't really argue that.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll send you go back to.
Neil, good?
Let's do
Yep.
it.
All right, 29-100. Land value. Where am I? From 250 down to 80,000.
Is that the total, David?
The home site value.
That's just the home site value, well, it's just the land value, really.
Yeah, but it's .75.
Total, yep. And then 29-100A. The land value from 200,000 to 132.
So, they got sewer here, septic.
Well,
Is that all of them
That's
except
it.
for Patterson?
except for Mr. Patterson at Nagy Point.
No Patterson?
We got it all?
I'm gonna hand out these menus for Thursday.
Okay. Got how much dog you have again?
You probably wanna walk around the
Say,
whole.
wait a minute, what's going on? You get off early today. Y'all must not be doing much work up there.
Hot dog, car wash.
Oh, yeah. Where are we eating Thursday? Let me see. No. Where's the food coming from? Oh,
Don
he's bringing
making
the
us
food.
lunch. Lunch by Don.
Those crabs are in season?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. Let's see, crab cake, lump, or what, rockfish.
All right, so do you want to start at 9 Thursday, David, or, I mean, you take your kids to school?
No, we'll keep it the same, 9:15.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need that 15 minutes.
I remember those days.
Oh, yeah.
No, my kids are done by then, but I could be here by 9 if you wanted to. Just
We'll
start
keep it
early.
9:15.
And I'll just, like I said, I'll just have, all the stuff that Bruce Julian brought in for the green, and then I'll just rehash.
I think we'll do that. We'll do those first and
And then choose.
then do Mr. Patterson's.
And then we be finished by noon?
Depends on how quickly they, depends on how many deficiencies we see in this thing.
Oh, he done post up, didn't you already? This is-
Like, this is the hardest decision I've made all
I
day.
know.
Isn't it?
Everything is so good here.
Yeah.
So good?
Oh, yeah.
You quit, you can go over there.
Yes, ma'am.
We have it.
I'm gonna get a Reuben
Oh,
for some french fries.
That sounds really good.
oh.
I'll do the same thing, Crystal.
What RJ
What RJ did, yeah.
I'm doing chicken salad.
The blank,
Yeah.
me too.
I'll do the burger. Medium, bacon.
Is that the car wash burger?
Yes. I also do the cheddar.
Yeah, we're adjourned, yeah. Thank you.
And can you ask for mayonnaise and mustard? Usually have ketchup here, right? Yes, please.
Oh.
And shoestring french fries.
Oh, he's still on. You on dinner?